Mesdames, Messieurs, bonsoir. Le Cameroun porte le deuil. La nation pleure ses enfants, lâchement assassinés à Koumba. Aucun mot n'est assez fort pour qualifier cette horreur. Abominable, ignoble, diabolique. Toute la nation ou presque fait chorus pour dénoncer un ensauvagement poussé au paroxysme. Aucun doute sur les auteurs. Il s'agit bien d'une bande de séparatistes zombifiés et déshumanisés qui ont trahi leur prétendue cause en lettres de sang. Et alors que l'émotion étreint la nation, cette émission spéciale se veut à la fois une tribune d'hommage, d'explication et de mise en perspective sur une dynamique de paix irréversible dans le nord-ouest et le sud-ouest, malgré les coups de boutoir des forces du mal. Good evening, Benin.
Bonsoir, Aimé Robert. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to this special broadcast which focuses on the senseless killing of innocent students attending school at the Mother Francisca International Bilingual Academy, Fiango Kumba. There has been a strong wave of condemnation of the gruesome massacre, and today we will revisit the facts in the matter, follow some of the reactions, talk to key actors in the field, get the latest from families affected, and with our guests here, we will try to understand what could be behind such senseless acts and also look at the way forward. And for today, and as we begin, we have two guests already with us right here. We have Professor Ofe Chinje Melo, the rector of the University of Ngaoundéré. Prof, you're welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Ben.
And then we also have Professor Magloire Ondoa, recteur de l'Université de Douala. Recteur, bienvenue.
Merci.
And the very first question we'll start by asking this evening, I should start by asking the lady. We followed the story and we saw many women weeping out their hearts, really crying out for what has happened. It's a very, very touching something, Prof.
Yes, it is. I mean, there is just nothing on God's earth that could make one understand what could happen. Why? We women, why were we crying? I mean, we know the difficulties in childbearing. You bring up children, and if you listen to the stories, you know, you had people, some family who for 20 years had no child, they brought forth a child, they're very happy. You know, with all those pains, and one day, you just sit for no reason, for children going to school in a classroom, you come and murder children in a classroom. I don't know how one could accept it. That's why we're in pain today. And you need to have seen how women, I mean, by today, even from since Saturday, women have been crying. You know, it was just like a spontaneous thing today for us to come together in a group and lament and ask God, why will a thing like that happen? And pray and denounce all those who are responsible for such atrocities, that it should stop. And we're very convinced that as we keep on crying and crying, something will happen.
Alors, c'est tout le Cameroun qui pleure ses enfants. Professeur, il ne fait pas de doute que c'est un acte savamment planifié, organisé, voulu, avec un message de terreur qu'ils ont voulu envoyer. Alors, à votre avis, pourquoi les enfants? Pourquoi l'école?
Ben, Aimé Robert, eux seuls peuvent dire. Pourquoi les enfants? C'est parce qu'ils ont un projet, j'allais dire, de destruction de l'avenir de ce pays, et même du monde tout entier. Parce que les actes qui ont été posés sont des actes inhumains. Ce sont des actes des ennemis du monde, des ennemis de l'humanité. Le monde entendu comme ensemble de pays et d'individus, mais l'humanité également en tant qu'être humain. L'on ne peut pas aller ainsi assassiner des jeunes, lesquels représentent l'avenir du monde, l'avenir du Cameroun, de l'Afrique et du monde. C'est simplement des terroristes. Ce sont des individus qui trahissent leur prétendue cause, parce que rien ne peut justifier le massacre des jeunes innocents. J'aime bien ajouter cela de façon à ce que chacun sache que ce qui a été fait est très grave. Il ne s'agit pas seulement du meurtre des enfants. C'est une tentative d'assassinat du Cameroun, de l'Afrique, du monde entier. C'est extrêmement grave, c'est inqualifiable, c'est intolérable.
Alors, on a connu dans l'histoire de l'humanité des révolutionnaires, des groupes armés, un certain nombre d'idéalistes qui ont pris des armes. L'un des plus célèbres à une certaine époque était un certain Che Guevara. Mais c'était des révolutionnaires qui étaient porteurs d'un idéal qui n'allait jamais jusqu'à ses extrémités. Voici donc des pseudo-séparatistes porteurs d'une prétendue cause et qui vont jusqu'à ces extrémités qui les hissent peut-être au même niveau que des talibans et d'autres groupes moyenâgeux qu'on a connus ces dernières années.
Absolument, ils ne sont pas séparatistes, ils n'ont pas d'idéologie. Ce sont des lucifériens. Leur logique n'est pas la logique de l'amour. Leur logique n'est pas la logique de la patrie. Leur logique n'est pas la logique humaine. Ils évoluent dans un environnement qui leur est propre. Ils se sont construits un ensemble de prétextes pour justifier ces actes. En réalité, ce qui se passe là-bas ne relève pas de la politique. Rien ne peut justifier des assassinats. Et encore moins les assassinats de jeunes innocents.
Prof, when we look at what actually happened, it would appear this is not what those who started the revolution were asking for. They were kind of asking for secession, they were kind of asking for federation. But it would appear they've bypassed that level. It is not secession anymore, it's not federation anymore. To go to school to kill innocent kids who are studying and they've struggled to go to school after 4 years, does it have, can it give any sense? Is there anything we can understand from that?
Not at all, Ben. I mean, if for us to start, this whole thing started when they said the teachers were asking for educational rights. How can you be asking for rights of education? And then you get to, as you say, they transform it from there and they said, okay, secession. And then you turn around and you try to extinguish the people, because when you start killing children, you stop education for 4 years. These children have not been to school. You want to stop education, so it just, there's no way where it places any justification. And we all know, we followed up events in the world. We don't know any part of this world where even you have the greatest, even civil war, whatever war, where there's no right to education. I mean, we can't imagine, nowhere. As you even say, even if it's in the whatever part of this country, of this world, we know. I mean, a typical example which I can give, I mean, I visited the Robben Island, where even when Nelson Mandela was in prison with his own people, they had their small cave there and they called it, that was the educational center, because he knows that by the time they leave from there, if they've not been educated, you're lost. Yeah. How can we have the future of Cameroon? Children and anybody on God's earth says you're defending those same people. Because by the time you're defending any nation, you start with the children, because the children are the nation for tomorrow. When you come today and you go to a classroom and you massacre a crowd of children in a classroom just because they want their educational right, I think they've totally, I mean, I don't know who on wherever on this earth can this, yes,
and machetes
to, I don't know, whatever they left from wherever, if they have not been fully drugged, if they were human beings by the time they got to those classrooms, they should tell us. I mean, we really need these persons to come out from wherever they are and tell us what actually, if they were normal, there's no way I would say they were human beings. They must have been transformed into some strange animals with those their strange atrocious things that they've been wearing on them before they can move on, because I don't see anybody being normal and carrying out some...
On perçoit encore toute la colère, et je dois dire, Benen, que rappeler que le président de la République, le président Paul Biya, dans le message de condoléances qu'il a adressé aux familles ce soir, via le gouverneur de la région du Sud-Ouest, il réaffirme son engagement à mettre tout en œuvre pour rattraper, retrouver les auteurs de cette abomination et qui rendront compte devant la justice. Le président de la République, on va le voir d'ailleurs dans les tweets que notre réalisateur va nous faire découvrir d'un instant à l'autre, le président de la République qui, comme de bien entendu, se joint à la nation entière pour adresser ses condoléances aux familles si durement éprouvées et sa solidarité aux blessés. Peut-être allons-nous prendre la direction de Kumba, la ville outragée.
We surely go to Kumba, where we are going to meet the city mayor, Greg Mewanu, who is on the line to Kumba. If the mayor is listening to us, Mr. Mayor, good evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening.
Thank you very much. We understand that it has been a very, very difficult moment for you. We saw you leading a peace march in Kumba the other day. How is Kumba this evening, 3 days after the very tragic event?
Kumba, I would say Kumba is quiet. Kumba is sad. Kumba is very, very sad, of course. Taking into consideration exactly what happened on Saturday, of course, it's going to take some while for the people to be able to begin to understand bit by bit what actually transpired. There are still very many questions which are open. You know, there are lots and lots of whys. Why? How could this happen? Why did this happen? This is, unimaginable. So Kumba is in that state of this whys. But I would say, as Kumba people, these are very strong people, very, very strong people. They are struggling gradually, of course, to get up from their knees, most especially with the concern that I would say others are showing, friends, brothers and sisters from Memez division, from the Southwest region, from Cameroon entirely, from Africa and from the rest of the world. I think it is helping us a lot in Kumba to begin to, feel that we are not left alone. And that's a wonderful feeling. But it is a mixed feeling. It is a tragic situation, but then we are struggling to cope with it.
Mr. Mayor, so how was that affected the population of Kumba? Has it affected the population in any way? Do kids still go to school? The parents still send their children to school? Are the teachers still in school teaching? Has it affected the population in any way?
I think it has affected the population in the sense that the place is calm, the people are in shock, like I tried to express previously. But then today is Monday, in the Southwest region, most especially in Kumba. That's one of those huge challenges which I personally, as a city mayor, newly elected, I'm going to be taking up that challenge very seriously and severely. Mondays is what we call ghost towns. There aren't business running, there aren't people going to work and stuff. So it's a calm day, I would say. We cannot use today to assess exactly the temperament of the town, be it when we talk about economics, commercial or administrative. We can't really use a Monday to judge that so far. It's going to change. I promise it's going to change because everybody in Kumba is willing and ready to put their hands on deck to make sure that we get this ghost town phenomenon completely thrown out of Kumba. But I would say by the day of tomorrow, we are going to be understanding better what affects this act, this barbaric, crazy, animalic act of Saturday is going to have on the population of Kumba, because it's going to be the first day of school, regular school day after Saturday, and we are looking forward to seeing the parents bring their children to school, see the children have courage to come to school. It's not going to be very easy, but I think having the population which I have, which I know, the courageous population, of course, encouraged also by international and national concern over this problem, I think all the parents are going to come out massively to say no. That is another way of making it very clear that we absolutely say no to this, violence, no to this barbaric act, no to Amber activities, no to this bondage which we have been put in since 4 years today. I think it's time for parents to make it clear, for young people to make it clear. And tomorrow is going to be one of those days when I am very sure our parents, our citizens, our children in Kumba are going to come out and go to school to show that we are not fearful people, we are not, cowards, we are not people who are going to, put our tails in between our legs and stay home. No, we are not going to do that. We are going to go to school. And I think then by tomorrow we should be able to judge. I am a proprietor myself, and I think I am going to work with my teachers, with our parents, with the students to make sure, like every other parent, like every other proprietor, like every other principal in the establishments, to make sure that the schools are full as it used to be, since we started schooling this academic year in the month of October.
Oui, alors, monsieur le maire, évidemment, c'est tout le Cameroun qui est endeuillé. Mais au niveau nucléaire, il y a quand même des familles, des mamans qui ont perdu directement leurs enfants, que ce soit les parents de Victory, de Jennifer, de Princess, de Chema, de Francesca, entre autres victimes. Vous êtes allés voir ces mamans éplorer 2 jours, 3 jours après. Qu'est-ce qu'elles vous disent, ces mamans?
Ça, c'est une situation triste. Il y a 2 choses qui me font parfois être dans la situation de pleurer. Mais bon, en tant qu'autorité, on essaie de serrer le cœur. On essaie d'être forte devant les parents qui sont directement touchés. Mais parfois, on lâche parce que nous sommes aussi que l'être humain. Ça, c'est la plus difficile. Rester devant les enfants, même j'étais là. Je voyais comme on essaie avec pour vraiment sauver la vie des enfants. Enfants sont morts devant moi, devant nous, devant les docteurs, les infirmières. On a fait. Les parents qui étaient aussi capables d'être là, évidemment. C'est une côté. Deuxième côté, c'est vous dites aux parents, on doit encadrer les familles. Je pense avec l'aide totale de l'administration, de le gouvernement, qui nous donne tout le soutien, qui nous donne toute la possibilité de prendre charge de toutes les factures, de toutes. Mais on dit, les factures n'est pas l'enfant, les factures n'est pas la vie. Donc les parents sont toujours touchés.
Thank you very much.
Qui sait quoi c'est passé comme ça. Difficile, c'est très dur.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, Monsieur le Maire, for talking to us. I know it has been very, very difficult. We really want to thank you. Crying, trying to encourage, trying to assist, trying to be there for the people of Kumba and trying to work with them to further collaborate with the military. We want to thank you very much and we wish you the very, very best. You have all our encouragement and the encouragement, I'm very sure, of the entire team right here. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. God bless you.
Peut-être que l'on va rester sur le registre de cette indignation collective, de cette indignation nationale, en vous proposant quelques réactions de quelques acteurs politiques de premier plan qui, comme je le disais, font chorus avec tous les Camerounais pour s'indigner devant cette abomination.
The Kumba killings of school children, the political classes, is an attack on all Cameroonians.
This situation is unbearable, unacceptable. All Cameroonians, irrespective of their political party, religion, tribe, time has come for us to stand together and to say enough is enough.
While the UPC wants the international community to act, CPNR requests martial law against extremists.
As the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, order the Armed Forces to disable these terrorists by January 1st, 2021. We dare not think that these terrorists, who horrified Kumba and are more powerful than other terrorist groups.
This is something that cannot be tolerated. It's beyond the human behavior. Our diaspora should now see and know the consequences of what is being done in Cameroon. Even the United Nations and the international community can help us maybe to find a word to describe this situation.
Beyond condemnation, the call for justice is resounding.
I don't even know what adjective I can use to qualify such odious, inhuman act of slaughtering of young innocents who have nothing to do with the crisis, either far or near.
No, the present is capable of handling very complex situations. We know he's going to take the necessary measures to ensure that those who are responsible for this gruesome murder are arrested and let the heavy hand of the law fall on them.
Unequivocally, the political class has condemned the Kumba killings.
Thank you.
Oui, alors professeur Magloire, je voudrais vous ramener à la prétendue cause de ces séparatistes. Je voudrais rappeler aux téléspectateurs camerounais que vous êtes auteur d'un monumental, auteur d'un traité de droit constitutionnel et institutions politiques du Cameroun en 8 tomes, dont notamment certains portent sur tous les textes politiques et constitutionnels du Cameroun depuis 1841. Et c'est pour ça que je voudrais vous interroger sur cette trajectoire historique du Cameroun et politique du Cameroun, sans vouloir refaire toute l'histoire du Cameroun protectorat allemand et puis partager comme un butin de guerre entre la Grande-Bretagne et la France le 16 et le 4 mars 1916, et puis ensuite cette indépendance en 2 temps, cette réunification, puis cette unification, et cette chimère que certains veulent entretenir avec un rêve indépendantiste. Et d'éminents universitaires comme vous, les politiques, ont montré et démontré qu'il n'y avait pas de retour en arrière possible.
Tout à fait. Il n'est pas possible de concevoir que l'on se retrouve à la situation de 1916. Ce n'est pas possible pour 2 raisons. La première, c'est que la réunification ou l'unification après la séparation avait été, j'allais dire, organisée par les Nations Unies, avait été voulue par l'ensemble des populations, francophones et anglophones. Cette réunification faisait suite à un vote qu'on avait appelé le référendum de 1961. Référendum au cours duquel les populations de ce que l'on appelait le Cameroun méridional avaient décidé souverainement, à la suite d'élections bien sûr, de rejoindre la partie francophone, c'est-à-dire ce qu'on appelait la République du Cameroun à l'époque, le Cameroun français. À la suite de ce vote, l'Assemblée générale des Nations unies avait gravé sur du marbre les résultats et par conséquent scellé le sort du Cameroun à travers une résolution qui existe, la résolution 1608-15 de l'Assemblée générale des Nations unies du 21 avril 1961. À partir de là, la possibilité que l'on revienne en arrière n'est même pas envisageable. Elle l'est d'autant moins que dans le cadre d'ailleurs de la politique des Nations Unies, la sécession, on connaît toute la politique des Nations Unies en matière de sécession. Ce n'est pas possible. Cela signifie que agiter l'hypothèse d'un retour à avant 1916 relève tout simplement d'un lyrisme, j'allais ajouter, diabolique. Parce qu'il faut le souligner, le Cameroun est un. Jusqu'en 1895, lorsque les Allemands le forment, il n'y a ni anglophone, ni francophone. Et pendant les 33 ans du règne, et j'allais dire de la colonisation allemande, nous étions tous germanophones. Ce sont les contingences de l'histoire qui nous ont amenés, pour certains, à être placés sous la domination française et d'autres sous la domination anglaise. Et je dois souligner, Aimé Robert, que depuis 1916, tous les Camerounais, de l'autre bord, qu'ils soient du Cameroun méridional, du Cameroun septentrional ou du Cameroun français, tous unanimement en appelaient à ce qu'on a désigné par l'unification. Alors d'où vient-il qu'aujourd'hui, certains remettent cet héritage en cause, alors qu'il s'agissait d'un héritage de paix, un héritage de fraternité, un héritage d'union.
And even when complaints came up, the teachers came up with the strike action, the legal minds came up, we noticed that the government of Cameroon took several measures, several concrete measures to settle most of these problems. They even went as far as the holding of the major national dialogues. The recommendations were made, and we're seeing the government involved in the implementation of these recommendations, even going as far as extending a hand to those who are in the bushes, to the secessionist fighters to come out from the bushes, and we've already seen many of them coming out. But now the situation in which we are, Prof, it would appear it is another agenda to completely destroy the integrity of Cameroon, to completely destroy the peace of the country. It's one that is not very, very clear.
Yeah, you're right when you say it's another agenda. And I'm convinced it's something different. And sometimes when I pull back, I look at it, this aggression that we see recently, I see as if, there's a bit of frustration, instead of they realizing that they failed, because when they started, they thought the population was with them. I mean, they imagined, but things changed. I don't know. I followed one of them today who was like saying, we now have to get the population on our side because we are losing ground. And of course, they will now move on to brutality, to massacre, to do all these horrific things. And I think one of the objectives is to call attention, to give impression to the world that, they are getting grounds, that they are succeeding in what they are doing, whereas they are not. And how can you, on God's earth, attract attention by doing such a horrific thing? It cannot be at all, and it cannot move us anywhere. So to me, what we are pleading, essentially these boys on the ground, when we women, we come out, we call all of them, they are all our kids, they are all our children, and we beg them non-stop to forget. As you say, when the head of state even went into solving this thing, he said he will go an extra mile. He will go an extra this thing to solve all these problems. And what has he not done? There's so much that have been done, and we see a lot of peace coming back. And that's why we're very happy that schools should return. After 4 years, schools have returned. And then why do you go and start killing children? It's totally something else. Les observateurs attestent que c'est la meilleure rentrée scolaire qu'on ait eue en 4 ans. That's it.
Of course. Et absolument. Alors, la vague d'indignation qui monte à travers le pays, on va avoir d'autres échos en prenant la direction précisément du sud-ouest meurtri et dans la foulée également du nord-ouest, avec l'indignation de la communauté éducative.
The first Monday after the weekend ordeal in Kumba is quite timid in some academic institutions in Buea. However, those in charge of dispensing knowledge to the young ones are not totally demoralized.
If, because of what happened in Kumba, the education family, all stakeholders of education in the region, succumbs and say no, then we must have closed the future.
This attempt to demoralize the education family, some teachers in the region say, is not enough to kill their sense of duty.
This morning when I left the house, I was just coming just because I have to come. Otherwise, if it was all on my own authority, I shouldn't be here.
Students of the region have expressed fear.
When I heard the news, it was as if I was sick because me, myself, I'm a student, so it was as if coming to school, it would be a risk seeing other students dying.
I felt very disappointed because I know education is what we hope on.
It's hoped that in the days ahead, perpetrators of the gruesome act in Kumba will be brought to book.
Alors sans transition, je vous propose de prendre les échos de la même vague d'indignation qui monte comme de bien entendu dans la région du Nord-Ouest. Et puis nous allons poursuivre notre échange en plateau.
They are still disturbed about the Kumba killings and are worried about the fate of school-attending children in the Northwest.
These children, we believe, they are innocent. They are not part of this fight. Yes, and if we are thinking of their future, we should allow them to study. It's really, really pathetic.
The government should ensure that there is absolute security. There should be peace, no bloodshed.
After the Kumba incident, the region's governor has organized a security meeting wherein he has reassured parents of government's move to protect the school campuses.
I will therefore appeal to the parents, to the population of the Northwest region, to accompany the administration, the security services, and the education family in the move so far taken to send back our children to school. They have already been defeated. It is certainly the last breath of a dying horse.
In the meantime, education officials in the region have been requesting the parents to collaborate with the administration and security forces by reporting anyone that intends to disrupt the school process.
Alors, pendant que toute la nation pleure, toute la nation est en larmes, professeur Magloire, on doit quand même reconnaître qu'il y a quelques sons de cloche qui prêchent, qui se distinguent par une certaine ambiguïté, pour dire le moins. Alors qu'on a connu dans d'autres pays, en de telles circonstances, où l'union sacrée est de mise.
Absolument. Et c'est dommage que chez nous, l'on constate que certains, au nom de je ne sais quelle logique, tendent à soutenir, parfois de manière très subtile, ce qui s'est passé, ou alors ce qu'on appelle la cause ambazonienne. Je dois dire que dans ce cadre, disons ici, et en des circonstances identiques à celle-ci, dans tout pays, c'est l'union sacrée. Aucun être humain normalement constitué ne peut soutenir, même de manière très fragile, ce qui vient de se passer. C'est tout simplement dommage. L'on peut constater que certains, par de discours un peu ambigus, très subtils, tendent à dire oui, vous n'avez pas fait ci, on a parlé du dialogue, vous ne l'avez pas fait. Mais qu'est-ce que ça a à voir avec le dialogue? On parle de terroristes qui ont tué des enfants à l'école. L'on parle de gens qui empêchent de construire l'avenir. L'on parle des ennemis de l'humanité. Par quelle alchimie peut-on trouver une relation entre ce qui a été fait et la prétendue cause séparatiste? Je dois dire que sans être, peut-être parce que je ne suis pas diplômé de Polytechnique, je ne comprends pas ça.
Alors précisément, il y a pire, professeur. Il y a aujourd'hui des liaisons dangereuses qui sont établies. On le voit à travers un certain nombre de vidéos qui circulent sur les réseaux sociaux. Tous les Camerounais qui sont accros aux réseaux sociaux ont pu voir ces vidéos où il y a manifestement des liaisons dangereuses entre certains activistes, certains partis politiques qui, à visage découvert, parlent de cotisation, d'achat d'armes, célèbrent un prétendu général, appellent au renversement par les armes des institutions républicaines. Cela ne se cache plus.
Ben, ils doivent être traités comme tels. Parce que je dis et je répète, nous sommes dans le cadre du terrorisme. Et s'agissant de ce terrorisme, tout ce qui apporte une aide, un soutien, fût-il verbal, à un terroriste, tout cela sont des terroristes ou des complices de terrorisme. Ils sont donc susceptibles d'être poursuivis comme tels, et s'il s'agit de partis politiques, ils peuvent être tout simplement, ils peuvent subir la sanction que l'on connaît, dont on ne parle pas beaucoup, la dissolution. Aucun parti politique républicain ne peut sérieusement soutenir ce qui s'est passé à Kumba. Aucun. Et le moindre petit soutien d'un parti politique à cela constitue un motif suffisant pour la dissolution. Et sur le terrain du droit, ils ne peuvent nullement se défendre. Si des faits sont établis, les faits de leur connivence avec ces partis politiques, même s'il s'agit d'une connivence spirituelle, même si elle ne s'exprime pas par des faits matériels bien précis ou violents, il suffit de dire c'est bon. Il suffit de dire c'est bon ce qui a été fait pour être complice de terrorisme.
Now, Prof, the question is, what message, therefore, to carry to the local population? Because just like Emirobe is saying and just like Prof is saying, at the end of the day, they are listening to divergent views. They are listening to politicians who are encouraging them to go the wrong way. They are listening to people who have no love for them because, well, if a person really loves you, he will not push you to go kill your brother or your sister, because at the end of the day, the populations are the immediate people suffering. So what is the kind of message now to the population? The message should be strong.
Yes, well, the message to the population should be simple. They've gone for 4 years without going to school. They've gone back to school, and we're all very happy.